Hey guys, what's up? It's Sean, Autotopia LA. We're still here with my friend Jim from Lakeside Speed Shine. We're getting into the second car, and as incredible as the Nova was, obviously that car was 4 years ago. I know you learn, you grow, you get better, even though you're great at what you do when you start it, but jump into this one because this car's a knockout. I mean, I know it's a 69 Camaro because I know 69 Camaros, and that's the end of what I know about it.
That's all you really need to know once we get into the details.
Yeah, one of my favorite power plants out there right now, man.
Yeah, dry sump version of the LT4, which has become absolutely my favorite GM powertrain right out of the Z06 Corvette from, I believe, 2021 era. Internals all stock. We've done just a little bit of a downsized pulley, and we put the billet new supercharger lid from MPI Performance with their matching machine valve covers. We're going to call it around 700 at the crank. They're stock 650.
Yep.
Everybody claims that they're getting 100 horsepower between a pulley and a tune, but I'll say realistically, we're probably 700.
You're more conservative on it, huh?
We hand build all the intake into the cold air, so everything gets basically ducted right through this corner pocket, so doesn't pull any heat out of the engine bay. We didn't fluff it up. We didn't fill it full of metal and cover what we wanted to see in there. This one, we actually got involved with the guys over at Anvil. They make some absolutely phenomenal products for the carbon fiber. And the bits and pieces that we left is what makes this, in my personal opinion, probably my favorite part about the car is just the little hints of carbon that pop up.
Very subtle, and too many people, in my opinion, have overdone carbon. Like when Speedcore did the all-carbon car, the first one, super cool. You do a few of them in a row, come on.
Yeah. I think you can do it and still have it tastefully done.
What's the subframe, suspension, all that stuff going on?
This is another complete TCI front and rear suspension. Basically the same Pro Touring IFS kit. This one's actually full round tube. That other one was actually rectangular tube with round tube supports. This one's running actually their torque armor suspension on it with a 4-link. And this car is a full coilover car, so it's running the Ridetech coilovers.
No air on this car.
No air.
Yeah,
static,
nice.
just the way it sits.
Nice. I like that.
Simple, keeps it easy. We got the stance where I believe a 69 Camaro should sit and still be drivable, still do everything you want to do. It was built to be a driver. This is one of those cars, the typical story that every shop hears, that he wanted a paint job. He brought me a red Camaro with an LS1 with some kind of rinky-dink upper control arms and some stuff done.
So it was a decent driver car.
This is a 20-footer by far, no problem. It looked great. So we scheduled it for a color change, and a couple conversations into it, his first question was, so when you guys paint cars, do you pull the motors out of them? And I said, of course, when I do a color change, everything comes out of the car. And he said, well, you know what? I really hate that motor anyway, so now's a perfect opportunity. Let's make some changes. And from that point, it snowballed to just see
everything.
Yeah. So this car was one of the victims of COVID when it came to us building the car. We went through all the supply chain issues. We went through all the battles of what was available.
Took you forever to get everything.
And we dealt with all that. So truthfully, this thing actually was slated to get an LS3. At the time, there was none in the country.
So is that what drove it to the LT4?
I made some phone calls, told him what he could have, and he said, go ahead and do it. And the rest is pretty much history after that. And once we got the approval on the LT4, the rest of the car kind of took shape from there. We knew it's the same thing with the Nova. Once we determined that this is the level of build we're going to go to, we had to go throughout.
What does it go to transmission-wise on here?
This one's got a 4L75. Same concept, with the Nova, obviously 4-speed automatic. They can put it in gear and drive and go for it. One request that the customer had with this car is it had a horseshoe shifter in it, and he wanted to drive it out of there with a horseshoe shifter in it.
Okay. So how about like headers, exhaust, rear end, all that stuff?
We ended up using BMR muscle rods for the headers because TCI at the time didn't have any LT conversions. All their stuff was LS conversions, and it wasn't fitting. Did a little bit of trial and error, made it work. We had to cut some tubes and re-weld everything. We built the full system on this car as well. One of the key features on this car that everybody kind of catches their eye is we did the rear side exit exhaust on this car integrated into this full stainless system. That definitely is one of the little key components of what this car does.
And what rear end were you saying?
It's a 9-inch Curry, full built, narrowed 4 inches on the back of that one compared to stock. Mini tubs, everything's done. Our normal Pro Touring package as far as suspension goes. We really, if we're not doing a full chassis car, we source to TCI on just about everything we build.
Gotcha. Brake setup, I'm assuming similar to the Nova manual setup?
Almost identical. We went with a little bit bigger front brake package, manual system, good plumbing, right stainless lines, and the wheel package that works every time.
Stock hood just painted and cleaned up?
100%.
Really?
Yep. It's an AMD hood, but it's 100% just factory
straight up Camaro. I love the spoiler you gave this car.
So this was a little bit of a collaboration without it intending to be. That's Anvil's split nose front spoiler. We knew we were going to build basically a body aero kit on the car. So we needed to kind of have a starting point with that. The carbon picks up well on certain pieces. I don't like it on a lot of the car, but obviously the chin spoilers, you know, or diffusers and things like that, you can get away with it. So we wanted to integrate our metal into their carbon fiber piece, and we kind of took their design, we added our lower splitters and our diffusers into it and built it to a really killer combo. And actually now it's funny because Anvil's getting hit left and right because everybody's seen this setup and they want exactly that attached to their Anvil spoiler. So
I can see why though, dude. The styling of that is really slick.
Yeah, we just want a little bit more
aggressive blend of metal with carbon.
That's the look. This whole car is based on finishes and textures. We really wanted that gloss black, matte black combination to flow with the carbon.
Whose hood hinges are those? Ring Brothers again?
These are actually Eddie's.
Eddie Motorsports?
Yeah, yeah. This one's got Eddie front and rear for the hinges.
Are those Dapper lights?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dapper lighting front. Those are actually their lowers because they actually just came out with those a few months back for their stock drop-in Camaro replacements. Matte finished them just like the headlights, so they have the same effect.
Yeah, man. It's funny, they're really a recognizable headlight. You can definitely
Absolutely.
tell it's Dapper.
Yeah. We've got the halos wired into B-turn signals, so they're a daytime running light on the white side, and then they shut down to B-turn signals on the front running lights, basically. We don't have any side turn markers. We shave those off. So those are our front turn signals.
What is your wheel and tire choice on here?
So this is Shot Wheels. This is their SL65 wheel. It's a 19 by 9 in the front and a 20 by 12 in the back. It rides great because it actually still has some
I bet it does, man.
Some deflection to it. So
what are the tire sizes?
the rear's a 335 3520, and I believe the front is a 265 30 19. I believe.
It might even be a 35. That looks like a good profile to
it
me.
is. Yeah, 35 series. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Again, one of those things you have to. Every car has almost an infinite amount of choices to be made.
Yeah, so we got the wheels from Shot. We had them just done completely gloss black. You know, the build matured. We started getting into our detail aspects of what color combinations in the trim and everything else. We kind of got a little bit bored with the wheel look of just gloss black. You try to look at it and you can't really see any definition of the lines, things like that. So yeah, we actually took the face of the wheel and did the matte face, and then the windows are still all gloss black, but the face of all the spokes is in the matte. Just to bring the matte gloss combo like the rest of the car has, and then brought the red stripe in to finalize it, obviously. That made a big difference in giving it the wheel some dimension and some depth.
So then I see like another carbon touch here in the door handle. Is this another Anvil piece?
Another Anvil piece, yeah. They're Anvil door handles. We did their rear bumper, just painted it because in my opinion, again, if you're going to do that look, I want all the body panels to be...
Totally with you. If you're going to go that look, go all in.
Yeah, that's the Kindigit rear spoiler. That's our low pro rear spoiler, also a carbon fiber piece, but we decided, obviously, I just prefer to see them in body color.
Love it, man. Is this rear valance and the rocker treatment, is that you guys handmade stuff?
My fab guys went to town and built all the lower aero, the exhaust cutouts. The gills are actually a one-off piece from Roaster Shop. The only other set of those gills is on Joe Rogan's black Camaro. What's nice about them is at first glance, somebody might think that they're actually the gills that came on a Camaro. We obviously body colored them, and we cut and pocketed and opened up the area where the...
So it's not vented at all to the brake
all
or anything?
Aesthetic, but we wanted it to look like it had some vents and ducting going into the rear brakes.
This is stunning what you did exhaust-wise here, dude.
Me and my guys stared at this car for probably 3 days, just trying to come up with a flow and a line that worked. Honestly, we had been so tired of doing rear exit exhaust systems and notches and cutouts and rectangular exhaust tips and everything else. I just wanted to come up with something that was a little bit of angry look to it, because the car, obviously the stance and what we were building into the aero.
That's bitching, dude. That might be my favorite element of the car so far.
It really flowed with the body lines of the car, and that took a lot of shaping. Obviously, as you can tell, there's a ton of different contours and a ton of different bends and angles, and it's all hand fab. My guys just wizard with that stuff.
Okay, just so I can understand. So you cut a hole in that lower part of the quarter panel, and then you make this piece and it inserts in, and the exhaust fits through it. Is that kind of the general concept?
We built a stepped-in flange, so this piece actually just bolts in. It's got studs on the back side of it, so it bolts in flush to the body. So the exhaust with one V-band clamp and 6 bolts, those exhaust cutouts come out, so we have access if we need to get to anything.
Again, so you have full serviceability like you like to have.
Yeah.
Is the flares on this all stock flares, or did you pull it at all?
Nope, it's all stock. I had to put these quarters on this car. Somebody had already patched in a set of quarters, and they were some of the worst I've ever seen attached. These are actually 69 convertible quarter panels that we had to make fit the coupe, because nobody had any coupe quarter panels available during that time. Everything's fresh, everything's good. It looks just as good under bare metal as it does the way it sits with paint. And Eddy tail lights on this one, sequential lighting, and everything's done. It's a Ride Tech quick fill cap. But 69s never had the fills in the rear panel. 68s had the fills in the rear panel. 69s moved them down to the gas door.
Yeah.
One of my customers' wants was to be able to have a gas fill a little bit closer up, a little bit higher. That's actually a 68 rear tail panel that we used to get the fit, and then actually grafted in the right deck rear filler.
What's the color on the car?
So the color is a variation of the Porsche chalk color. I added a little bit of an iron brown tone to it. This car, for being a solid color car, changes drastically in every different light you put out there.
And again, you've gone through and sharpened and peaked all the lines on the car.
Yeah, what I do on 69s, I kind of have a little bit of a recipe that I always do. I actually connect the dots on all of these body lines right here. The ones through the door, I actually extend them into the quarter panel. Normally every 69, this body line disappears right here and just turns into a blunt-ended finish.
Really?
Same thing with this line. This line disappears and goes flat and doesn't actually reconnect into the quarter line. I like to connect the dots between those. Paint and body is where I've come from, and those are all the things that I address.
That's slick.
So we did the flush glass, and we added into the A-pillars.
Yeah.
Normally these A-pillars are gone about 1.5 inches up because they usually have that big chrome molding across them. So we actually built the lower A-pillars to blend into the fenders.
So you add on to the A-pillar to get...
we built that whole box basically just to bring it down to the fender line. That way it fits flush with the glass line, fender line. Everything just has a nice square point to it.
To get the flush glass back here, is there any metal massaging here as well?
There's not a part on these cars that comes in and bolts on without doing some massaging. So if we're going to make this part fit the car, I want it to look like it should have went down the line.
I really like that approach, dude. You made me want to go look at a stock Camaro now just to catch the line.
Exactly. And that's what you have to do with this car is you got to put it next to a stock one. And a lot of guys would never even catch that even then. That's what, to me, makes it finishes the car. And you know how it is. I mean, a 69 Camaro, you know how hard it is to really make a car stand out as a 69 Camaro?
There's a few of them out there.
To separate yourself from it. And I don't even consider that we separate ourselves. I want to build the cleanest rendition of one that I can do and without losing the iconic look of a 69 Camaro.
So I'm seeing on the seats here already, I'm seeing the TMI. Is it a full TMI interior?
Complete TMI interior kit from top to bottom.
Even the center console, that's their
waterfall console.
Bolt in, it all kind of fits pretty well.
Yeah, and it actually worked out really well. We built a tray, so we took their custom console and we built our own tray for the horseshoe shifter to fit back into. We were able to use the stock sight glass and the lighting and everything else and the base.
Yeah.
And we modified it to fit their center console so we could still use the horseshoe shifter.
Dude, for one, I'm a total geek for red. I just love red. I mean, look, my shoes. I mean, it's always that point where you can overdo things or you subtle it, you know?
Yeah. What it boiled down to is we were all concerned with everything going on that this thing was going to go sit into upholstery for months and months and months. And this company makes it really easy for us to make the phone call while we're building the car, they're building the interior. You know, there's obviously little things that we do to make them fit, but for a production kit company, I've been pretty impressed with everything they sent us.
They're impressive, dude. I've been in a lot of TMI interiored cars, and for the person that doesn't know anything about it, it looks like a full custom one-off interior.
This is a great option. I mean,
absolutely.
The seats fit you great. That dash cluster was done by a guy, it's called Gray Air Metalworks, and the interior insert is built to accommodate the 12.3 screen. So what that is, that's a Dakota Digital's controller for the vintage air system. You can actually fully climate control.
First time I've ever seen that.
Yeah, it's actually a really slick controller. This is the first one I've used to put in this car, but I will definitely be using their system. The dash pad is actually a 69 Nova dash pad. Basically, there's a notch normally on Camaros where the clock goes right there. That had to go away. We were able to use a 69 Nova dash pad with a smooth finish, and it actually worked perfectly on this dash. We had to massage it, but we made it work. So
I got to flat out say I'm a massive fan of the Holley dash. So I noticed when you go on here, there's a start button on the screen?
Yeah, that's just
is that seriously your start button, dude? You got to be kidding me.
So we've got a switch on the dash to basically flip between comfort and sport shifting. And then there's also the switch on the dash to turn on the cooler system for the heat exchanger for the supercharger. So we basically integrated everything right into touchscreen so we can do it all right there.
I've never seen somebody go as deep as adding a digital start button,
touchscreen, yeah.
Wild, bro. And being able to adjust the trans on the fly like that?
Yeah, being that we use the GM control module and the GM trans module, there's different calibrations in the transmissions. So we figured there might as well put the option out there.
Is this all
TMI
headliner as well?
Yep, one piece. Alcantara.
Now, do you have to have an interior company install that, or are you able to install that yourself?
We put every inch of this in, from carpet to the top. This thing's completely Vibra Solutions insulated, done, and then top to bottom we did all the paneling before we started the interior process. That's their carpet kit with their jute padding underneath. Those are their sun visors that are stitched to match everything. We modified the package tray a little bit just for the audio system.
Dude, this is, I hope you guys look into Lakeside Speed and Shine, because knocked out, dude, by this car, by the Nova we shot earlier.
We appreciate that.
I mean,
you've seen a lot of cars, so I greatly appreciate the kind words on that. We've
genuinely knocked out, bro.
Actually, this car's got their complete trunk kit and everything done also in the
Let's may as well, while we're right here, do you need a key for it?
We took
That's nice, just to hold the plate down.
Yeah, every Camaro and Chevelle guy we build one of these for them when they do have the gas filler, because that is...
I have literally, I'm not saying you're the only guy that's ever done it.
Yeah.
I'm only saying I have never in
Why
my
wouldn't
life,
everybody do it? Yeah.
Because otherwise,
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, dude, I know I've been there before where
yeah.
you're like this and you're holding...
You got your gas cap wedged in between there trying to hold the thing.
That's slick.
Yeah, obviously just a little kickstand that we built for that.
And then what's this?
We run a battery tender system in the cars just for the customers when they put them in the garage.
Easy plug and go.
So basically just plug in an extension cord that's plugged into the tender that's inside the battery system. So
it's
they don't have
already
to,
hooked and ready.
Yeah, they're not trying to find jumper cables or the stupid adapters for the tenders. Literally just take an extension cord from their wall, plug it right into the male side of that, and it's charging. So whenever they're parked, it can just sit there and basically just...
You do some really smart shit, dude.
It's serviceability and functionality and drivability. So that's the kind of stuff that we want to do. It's basic stuff, but it's...
And where's the release for the...
So this is the manual override release. The trunk is on an electric popper. But
right, but you can mechanically pop it there.
Yeah, we just did mechanical.
Right, and then the full TMI rear,
Simple. We lose a little bit of trunk space with their kit. There's probably a better way if you're to really custom engineer it. But, the space behind it's audio and everything else anyways. It's got 212 subs, all kicker components and everything in it anyway. So we used up all that backspace anyway. It's plenty of room to get them out to the shows and get them, if they want to do an overnight trip to Vegas, they can throw a duffel bag in there and go.
And you said these are Eddie Motorsports as well?
Yeah, we did front and rear Eddie Motorsports on these and the Eddie tail lights also.
Super clean fitment once again with you. Well, man, let's get the cameras in. Let's go drive this puppy. Boy, this is TMI, man. I tell you, they knock me out. It's a great looking interior. And I don't get paid by TMI or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just, I like the idea that the guy that can't go to all the companies we've mentioned, for $10,000-ish, he can get what looks like a pretty damn custom interior.
Yeah, and to 90% of the world that's checking out your car, this looks like a full custom interior. Custom interiors absolutely have their place, and this car rightfully could accept one and it would take it to that next level of car, but since the fit and finish is good on it, it doesn't squeak, it doesn't rattle, it doesn't make noises in the interior.
Nice.
Everything's tight, so why not?
It's nice.
The good thing about it is the customer is out driving it.
So I noticed with this one, as opposed to the Nova, slightly a bit more brake input.
A little more pressure. This car, we didn't go to the 14-inch rotor in the rear, which it's what Sal brought us and what the customer had ordered. So we ran with it. It slows down and does everything. I mean, if you want to stop, it stops, but you use your leg to do it for sure.
Yeah, no, I can tell. It's just it's something that I've experienced before with manual brakes. It's a little bit more input on it.
Simplicity is the key with this system for me. It's one of those if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of deals.
I find myself these days with all of our modern tech, and obviously this car has a considerable amount of modern tech in it. I mean, hell, I'm looking at the Holly Dash, right? More and more and more I crave the analog experience, because now I don't have a car beeping at me, telling me to go, beeping at me, telling me to stop, driving me up the wall.
Yeah, lights are flashing on your mirrors telling you there's a car next to you. It's like, if I can't figure that out already, I shouldn't be in the car.
No. Boy, this car drives down the road really nice, man.
At 80 miles an hour, the car has this set that it just feels like it's planted to the ground, and it just cruises, 2,700 RPM or so at 80 miles an hour, and you kick this thing down, and it's at 120 before you can blink an eye, and it's a wild ride. Yeah. Not crazy astronomical amount of horsepower, just a bumped up LT4, about a car that weighs probably maybe 200-300 pounds less than the Vet actually does now that it came in.
Right. So this is what, 32-ish, 33-ish?
I guess I'm probably loaded down, ready to go, probably 34, somewhere in that range with with what we got on it. We load these things up with interior padding and everything else. Any weight we save with a carbon piece, we lay down a piece of Dynamat or something to fill the voids.
So your fan comes on what, just a little over 200?
Yeah, they're right up with the new motors. They usually, factory said they come on at like 211. We drop it down to I think like 205. But these motors just the 200 range, 205 range is where they want to be at.
Yeah.
You know, obviously we're in Havasu. Right now it's 106 in Havasu.
Is it really?
Yeah, when I left yesterday, it was 104 degrees at 4 o'clock.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah, so we want to keep them running right in that range that GM wants them to be at. So basically we just keep them right there.
This car drives nice. I know I've been in TCI equipped cars. I can't say I remember which ones. The slight amount of stiffness that I want, knowing that I'm in a pro touring car, but I'm not.
I haven't really played a whole lot in suspension tuning on it. We've got the ride heights where we want it, but I really haven't touched the clickers much. We kind of set them 50-50 and start from there.
I like the heaviness of the turning, but it's not.
No, it's got
so it's not manual.
No, it's power steering, but it's got a pretty low input at speed. We did a little bit different valving just in the power steering, just to change how much assist it gives. I don't like when they get so loose that you don't really have any input in them. I like almost like a manual feel without the manual nightmares of parking, basically.
I am exactly the same way. I want it manual until it's time to park.
Yeah, until I got to parallel it or something. Yeah, exactly that.
That was a thumbs up for you. This car's got to get a lot of looks, I got to imagine.
It's been doing pretty good in that category, yeah.
Yeah, it's a sexy one. Oh, dude, this is nice. I love hearing that the owner actually takes it out and drives it, that he drove from Havasu to LS Fest and back.
Yeah, and that was the main reason. I want to turn the air on, set the thing at 80 and just drive it. I'm hoping.
Right, go find the issues for me, right?
Well, you know, we knock all those out, so. We really never built this car to be a show car, so we really had no intentions of ever really being displayed and been put out.
And meanwhile, you're going out and picking up awards with
That's
it.
the thing. It rewards all the guys back at the shop and me, obviously, so.
Had to feel good to the owner to go to LS Fest and let's be honest, dude. There's a lot of heavy-hitting cars out there, man, and to pick up an award.
I mean, he pulled best of show at LS Fest. We went to Good Guys in Del Mar. We got up top 10 Builder's Choice. It's been really cool to see some appreciation for it.
It'll be fun to see how the cars are received on our channel.
I mean, what you're doing for all the shops and all the builders, it's awesome to be able to see. So it's nice to actually take a day and go play with them.
Oh, I love that LT4 motor, man.
It is.
God dang.
Man, this thing just runs and it cruises and it
runs
does.
Great. And it makes a great tone, to be honest with you, dude. I really genuinely like the tone. The car sounds wonderful, bro. That smaller pulley kit sure makes a nice sound, huh? That just planted me in my seat.
Yeah, this one, when it spools up, it starts to put you in your seat.
The torque arm's a really impressive rear suspension, isn't it?
Yeah, I love the way they plant. It pulls the whole car down when it accelerates. You don't get the squat and lift. It actually plants the whole car when it takes off.
That's how it feels.
Yeah, everything just settles down. Like I said, when this car comes in about 80, it just feels so planted.
Totally clear over here.
Yeah, perfect.
Man, this car gets down.
Yeah.
That's it, man. Gosh dang. I get the purple smile going right now.
Yeah, this car will do it to you. That's what I said. I know every builder claims that their last build is their favorite, but this one is high on my overall list for sure.
I mean, you got to be proud of you and your crew, dude. I mean, from the fit and finish, which is hyper important in my opinion, when you're going this level, right? Yeah. The performance, the sounds of it, that exhaust exit.
It wakes her up a little
bit.
But what's nice about it is it doesn't revert back into the car. And that's what the best part about it that I have found is
this car has no drone whatsoever.
No.
Is it MagnaFlow on this also?
So these are actually another company. This is a company called Varex. mufflers. They're out of Australia.
Okay.
And they're a variable tune muffler. They're servo related, and I've got the buttons in here basically to control how much sound actually goes through them. I can make this thing quiet. I can make it obnoxious. I usually run them right down the middle because it has the best tone without reverberation.
Like where it's at now, is this typically where you like to run it?
Yeah, this is where I always keep
I'm
it.
good on
I hardly
this.
ever even touch the button. I always tell customers, you got the ability to play with it, but once you find where you're happy with it, you're never going to touch it again.
You're right. What'd you 335 and just spinning like crazy?
Oh yeah, she comes. Yeah, took them
Son of a
unglued, no
bitch.
problem. That was no brake. That was just.
No, I know it wasn't any brake, dude. I got you, man.
Yeah,
that was bitching. Yeah, I mean that was.
The crazy part about it is it's absolutely a drivable car, but she's got an angry side to her, and these motors are just fantastic. Literally 20 miles to the gallon all the way to Vegas and back. It doesn't care. That's what's crazy. You can have the AC on and it just cruises.
That for me is proof that for your average street driving guy, 700 horsepower is plenty of horsepower to cruise all day long, have a nice time. You want to spin 335s without touching the brake? I mean, and you were modulating it. You weren't banging the rev limiter.
No, I was rolling into it because I didn't. You put a set of drag radials on this thing, go to the track, it'll still blast probably a mid-10, and then take it home and cruise it to dinner that night. So,
freaking impressive, dude. Yeah. That is just a bitchin' 69 Camaro. And think about it, man. There's been so many 69s done. How do you do one that's a bit different, cool? And I think they just nailed it on this car. I'm really impressed, I gotta say, with Jim and his crew out at Lakeside Speed and Shine. I mean, doing some heavy hitting cars, man. You guys, while you're out there, take a look at what they do. They, been doing this for quite some time. Big thanks to you guys for hanging and watching what we do. I really enjoyed shooting this one today, and I hope you guys enjoyed it half as much as I did. And I'll see you in the next episode. All right, man, later.